Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Tim here with the TMA Connection, the podcast that focuses on people that are making a difference. And today we have two difference makers. All right, so we have Renee and Grace Thater from Abingdon Classical Home Academy to be with us today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, so let's talk about Abingdon Classical Home Academy. How did this all start?
A lot of different ways. So homeschooling was never my thing. It was never something that I ever planned on doing. I have two teenagers who always went through the regular school system, and then COVID hit. And then when COVID hit, that was one of the blessings for me, was that we tried the virtual learning. Grace was only in preschool. And so we said, let's just do it ourselves. Let's kind of do some work ourselves. And then she started kindergarten. So we signed up with the virtual learning program. Okay. That lasted with us about 3 months. And I was done. I couldn't handle it anymore. I couldn't sit there in front of the computer with her. She didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. Neither one of us wanted to do it.
It was tough.
It was really hard, very stressful, and I wanted to just kind of like hang out with her and teach her on my own. And as soon as I started getting the work asynchronous style, I thought I could do this on my own. Okay. I felt like I could do it better.
So there was flexibility in, when you guys sat down and did schooling and what you could do.
Correct. Okay. So I said, I want to do this on my own, and I went to a couple of different meetings with some homeschool parents who done this, and they explained how it's done. Once I learned the ropes, I was really excited and said, I'm going to take the plunge and homeschool her. So I offered it to my older two as well at the time, but they were older and they were established in their school and had their friends. So I totally understood, let them do their thing. I believe that God creates us all differently. So, they had their own path. And so for her, I had one kid in public, one kid in private, and then I was homeschooling her. So so we're all created individually.
So you've seen the diversity of education that that kids can get.
Yes, and I'm for all of them, because every child is different. So different things work for different people.
100%. Yep.
I led a women's Bible study at my church for 6 years, and during the first after the first year, I said I can't do this without a sitter. I can't do it without a sitter. Grace was too young, and so a friend of a friend of a friend referred me to a woman named Shelly, and so she was my sitter. And I always felt like we would do something. She would do something with me, with childcare or church, something like that. Yeah. And after a couple of years, I don't know, I was just on a car ride to Hershey Park with my husband, and I said, I feel like I should open a school, like maybe a preschool or something like that. And I always wanted to do some sort of ministry. My mind and my heart were always on women's ministry. So I never thought kids, but God had other plans. And so being a homeschool parent, I said, what if I was to open a hybrid homeschool, a place where parents could drop their kids off, have some time where they can have for them to be refreshed and recuperate, and really have us focus on the things that they don't get to. So I feel like a lot of homeschool parents have the main meat and potatoes, the math and English down, and we help them with the other things that they seem to really struggle with.
So what are some of those other subjects or activities, areas of learning that you're focusing on outside of the math and the English curriculums?
Yeah, so we tell the parents to have their own reading and math curriculum because we feel that's very individualized, and because we only meet 2 days a week, they need to be doing this with their child multiple days per week. Yeah. So we do the backbone of that. So we'll do English facts and we'll do math facts just to make the curriculum easier throughout the week. But aside from that, we do geography, we do social studies, which includes history, we do science, which includes hands-on science experiments. We do Bible. Pastor Craig is the pastor there, so he does a Bible with the kids, like an in-depth lesson. We do music class, we do art, we do public speaking, field trips, and have special guests. That also includes health and life skills. We also include too.
Wow.
We do a lot, and recess, which PE and planned activities, which counts as their gym credit. So we really cover it all.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So every Tuesday, Thursday, how long is that school day?
So we meet Mondays and Wednesdays.
Oh, Monday and Wednesday. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and we meet from the regular traditional day is from 8:45 to anytime between 11:30 and 12. So we first said pickup was at 11:30, but what happened was that the kids were playing and hanging out, socializing. The parents were coming. We have such a beautiful community of parents. They were socializing and hanging out. So I said to them, come by 12, come anytime between 11:30 and 12 for pickup. But then we offer extended day, which is right now only on Mondays, and that includes lunch. The kids have lunch, they socialize together. We do book club, we do logic, and we do games club. And then the parents pick their
Interesting.
kids up at 2:00 if they choose to do that. So
That's
yeah.
wild.
Yep. And we actually also included team building recently as
Okay.
well. Yeah, because we had all the kids in music together, and we try to split them up by age to make it a little more manageable for the teacher.
Yeah.
And so we included life skills to help the kids. Not life skills. I'm sorry, team building.
Okay.
And the team building helps the kids work together to accomplish.
Oh my gosh, so
a task.
important.
It is. It really is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it makes just the kids learn how to work together, how to cooperate, and to
Yep.
complete a task. So.
Grace, I'm coming to you next. What are some of your favorite subjects when you're at the Abingdon school?
I really like doing arts and crafts because some of them we do like these old crafts from a long time ago. One time we used like all this newspaper,
Okay.
and then we used, I think it was yeast, and so then we made it look like a pumpkin for like Halloween,
Okay.
and then we painted it, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. What any other subjects that you really like that you look forward to when you go to school?
In the beginning of Monday, I do music class.
Okay.
And I like doing that because like we sing songs and practice for like spring performance, and then we do a Christmas performance by singing songs,
Yep.
and some people will play instruments. And so like at snack time, I would usually like practice the drums with Pastor Craig for the performance. I do mess up a few times though.
That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. That's great. I think it's just so important that there's just a very rigid curriculum, I guess, when you're in the public school system, which does work for people, but having that flexibility, to really hone in on what the kids really enjoy learning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. If learning is fun, the kids don't realize they're learning.
Mm-hmm.
That's just we're having fun. We're doing different things. Such as cooking or the arts and crafts or things that they enjoy. You can really follow your child's interests in learning, which is really spectacular when it comes to being able to give them as much as we can.
Now you have several different grade levels.
Yes.
What's that grade level look like, and how many kids are you teaching at the school?
Yeah, so right now, when we started 2 years ago, we had 4 students, including Grace, my own. We started
Okay.
with 4.
Uh-huh.
Now we have 25.
What?
And they go from pre-K to middle school.
Okay.
And we're actually opening a high school unit in the fall. So this is a whole new ballgame for me, and I'm learning so much. And high school is really in depth, but I'm really excited to do it, and to learn and to, help the kids get to graduation.
To get an individualized education in high school, including the things like the socializing and the team building and the life skills and all that, how awesome! What great opportunities these kids are going to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And we split them up. So I have like preschool and kindergarten are together
Okay.
in a class, so they're learning on their level, and their main focus is the reading, the writing, word blending, math, basic math skills, calendar work, and then we do upper elementary. So
Okay.
there's a little bit more challenging, and then we have the middle schoolers. And
Okay.
the upper elementary and middle school actually use the same curriculum that I create.
Okay.
It's just that the middle schoolers do it on a more advanced level.
Got you. Now, when you say you create the curriculum, are you gathering that information from other resources? Does the state have any involvement in what they say you need to teach in order for them to get a high school diploma or state testing? How does that all work?
Yeah, so the requirements that the state puts forward is math, science, English, social studies, art, music, PE, and health. That's
Okay.
their main thing.
Okay.
And then so I tell parents the math and the English are on them, that they could do that. As far as the other curriculum goes, I create it myself. So I will just, like we go through, for example, like geography that we're doing now. So now we're doing Africa. We've been doing that since we first started.
Okay.
So I printed up maps of Africa. The kids are working on a song, so they get to memorize. They
Yeah.
memorize all the countries of Africa. So by the end of the year, they should know them all by heart.
Okay.
Grace knows most of them. And we locate them on the map, and then I issue extra work. So if we're working on, let's just say, Tanzania, they'll maybe watch a video about that. They'll have level appropriate worksheets so parents can see what they'd like to learn. Or they don't have to do it. They could do their own thing as well. Homeschooling is really about the parent being the teacher, and so they could choose whatever they'd like to do. So we'll offer it, and my theory is take what you want, leave what you don't. So or they can, if the kid loves that subject and the parent is seeing that, wow, they're really running with Tanzania and love learning about it, they can cook some food from the country. They can go to the library and get some books about that. They could watch extra videos. They can learn about the culture, maybe meet someone from that country and interview them. It's really meant to inspire the parents to run with it.
To have that freedom.
Yes.
And they take you up on that? I mean, are they really buying into finding creative ways to teach the content?
Yes, some do, some don't. So some are really open and honest and say, we're just here because my child needs friends. We want them to be here to just socialize and to have some friends and have a community to be part of. Awesome.
Yes.
They could do that, and that's totally fine. Then I have other parents who are very interested in making sure that everything is posted when it's supposed to be posted and that it's on time, so that way they can take the curriculum and do that and move forward with that. So we're meant to inspire, not regulate, or not meant to say this is what you have to do. It's really just to inspire parents and say,
I love that.
Here, we can help you. So if you're doing your own science curriculum, let's say, we can add to it. So if your kid is with us during the day, they're still getting that.
Yeah.
But they don't have to use only what I have. They can implement everything that they're doing, what I'm doing, or just what they're doing, or just what I'm doing. It's their journey.
Yeah.
So they can do it however they want.
So you've started when you were in preschool. Not necessarily. At what grade was she when you guys started the homeschool program?
That was first.
It was kindergarten. I actually did try sending her to kindergarten during the COVID thing because they had the kids. They said we'll come like one day a week or something and put on the masks and come. And we tried it, and it just wasn't a good fit for our family.
I did not like the masks. I couldn't breathe, and you had to walk out of the classroom to drink water. Like you couldn't even like drink it in there.
Right.
Like you can't even take off your mask. You have to like take it out outside the building and drink, and then go back inside.
Wow.
Or like outside the classroom.
Isn't it crazy to think of all the things that we had to do to be in compliance with what was being said, and
and we didn't know, so we
nobody knew.
We just did what we were went along with it, and I sent her to school and we tried it, but then school closed shortly after. They all closed.
Oh, so this was a March, around March time.
They tried to open, and then they closed back again, and so that was really at the point. So that's when we did the asynchronous learning. So it was really first grade. I think first grade was the first year that we really ran with it.
So when you started off, there was you and 3 other kids, and now you've got 25. Now, are you friends with all 25, or are you do you know everybody, or do you have a good core of friendships?
I'm not friends with everybody.
Do you like the team building activities that you do?
Half and half.
Okay. But it's kind of forcing you to socialize, right? I mean, that's pretty important.
Yeah.
Right? I think. Right? Yeah. I mean, we got to talk to people in life, right? Yeah. That's cool. But sometimes, hey, even as adults, when we meet new people and we're forced to work with people, it's not always the most comfortable thing. But once we break through that, we can really become a little bit more comfortable with it. Do the hard things, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Are there misconceptions about homeschool? And if there are, what's the truth to what actually is happening?
So the biggest misconception is the socialization. That the kid's going to be alone, not have any friends, that we're going to do this alone. And I am way too social to homeschool her alone at my kitchen table full time. I couldn't do it. So
that would drive me nuts if I had to teach any of my kids all day long at home. Yeah.
And I find that we are more social, and she has more socialization as a homeschool student than we did in school. Like when we were in public school, I didn't know any of the parents. I didn't have any contact with them. So if my older son or daughter would say, I want to invite so-and-so over, I didn't know who it was. How do I get in touch with the mom? Do I want this person over? Do I like them? Are they good? I didn't know them. I know everybody who she hangs out with. I know all the parents. I know, and we're part of so many activities, different things that we do. And Hartford County, the homeschooling community is really rich. I mean, there's so many people who do it. Yeah. And so the friendships are there, and we're able to build, based on what we have in common. So I have friends, all basically all my friends homeschool,
Yeah.
and most of her friends are all homeschooled.
Well, isn't that the truth? Like with parenting, is that we just become the friends of the parents of their friends.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But what a great way to have something just so in common with one another that you guys kind of understand each other and what you're trying to accomplish. And you know, again, you're talking about using what you think is effective and throwing out the rest and balancing ideas off of each other and all that.
Yep, and another big misconception is the parents thinking, well, I'm not a certified teacher. I can't do it. I'm
Yeah.
not qualified to do it. And that's a huge misconception. I mean, parents are very qualified. Nobody knows your child better than you. And so you can teach them in the way that works best for you and your child. There's so many curriculums out there, so much help. And when the child gets older, if they need more intricate help with math or science, I mean, you have online programs that they could be part of.
Yeah.
You have the community college that offers different programs, and then there's just so many different classes that you can sign your child up for. So do you need, to sign your kids up for things to homeschool? Absolutely not. There's 100 ways to do it. But of course, parents, if they want their children involved, then they'll sign them up for these different things to give them opportunities that maybe the parent can't give themselves.
That's huge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think too, like, I mean, do you ever have to teach something that you don't have too much of a grasp on, and you have to learn it yourself before you can teach it?
All the time.
and that's the best way to learn is to teach.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
feel like I'm learning along with her,
Yeah.
which is really cool. So it's like I'll learn about these things as we go. Like I didn't know about Africa in so much depth about, like the locations and landmarks and, where certain countries that I've never heard of, like Lesotho, like, where is that located? I only knew the few main ones. So
Yeah.
being able to locate that on a map, we learned that together. So
Okay.
yeah, it's really a neat experience for both of us.
All right, Grace, so I'm going to put you on the spot. In the past couple months, what's something that you're really enjoying about learning more about?
For my mom's class, I really like learning about history because it'll tell you what stuff was back then, and it will say about like old stuff that happened in the years like 20 years ago,
Okay.
and 30 years ago. It's pretty cool.
Pretty old, 20, 30 years ago, huh?
Yeah.
So, I
Long
mean,
time
I
ago.
was only 30 at that time. You know that, right? Yeah. That's so cool that you love history. Now, do you have an idea of, say, what you want to do maybe when you get older, or is that still a little out there?
Still a little out there.
That's okay.
That's right.
I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. Yeah. So certainly having an individual education is super flexible and amazing. How does this work with students with disabilities?
It's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have a conversation with the parents to make sure that we're a good fit for them because there are some kids who need definitely a specialized type of program to meet their needs.
Yeah.
But we have kids with ADD, ADHD, autism, and the environment that we provide allows them to learn and allows them to thrive. I've had parents who've come in crying, saying that my child's not working out in the public school system. We just had our meeting, and it's just been all they hear is how awful their child's doing and the challenges that they have. And so they just come out of that thinking, this is just horrible. My child can't succeed, can't do this. And they'll
Yeah.
come into our environment, and we give them an environment that's upbeat, that's a little bit louder, that's, more exciting, more hands-on.
Yeah.
And we don't force, we just lovingly encourage. So like if we have a student who's like, I don't want to go up there and do public speaking, I don't want to talk, you don't have to. That's fine. Maybe encourage your child then, hey, maybe just ask some questions for the other child that's speaking. Or a child who struggles with handwriting, with writing.
Yep.
So we'll say, don't write the words, just listen. When I ask you a question, I want you to respond to know that you're listening rather than force them to do it. We'll encourage them. So I'll say, okay, if we're doing a writing assignment and they're just not comfortable with writing, long paragraphs, I'll say, okay, write a few words, draw some pictures. And then when you come up and explain to the class what you did, just explain what your pictures mean and how this relates to what we're learning.
Yeah.
And that way I know that they're learning and they're excited to do it without feeling that pressure. And so when you have children with disabilities who can't handle certain things, they can't handle intense research, they can't handle maybe I don't know, music class in certain ways. We'll find ways to incorporate them where they can be part of it without having to do the set curriculum.
Right.
We'll find a way that works for them. Yeah. So it really does work out very nicely.
That's awesome. And I think to add on to that too is because you guys are so small and you have 25 kids, but it sounds like you have 3 sections of kids. So it's like, you're averaging, 7 to 8, kids or whatever in a class.
Exactly.
is the class size, where a kid that maybe struggles with learning in a bigger environment of 25, 30, sometimes more in a class is just the ability to have that hands-on attention a lot more is just
Yeah, and then so like
critical.
for book club, for example, we do extended day, we have book club, and I'll pull words out like vocabulary words, right?
Yeah.
In a traditional school, they may say this is your homework and this is what you have to do. You have to look them up. You have to write them 3 times each. You have to put them in ABC order.
Yeah.
I'll tell the kids, do anything. So do something you're comfortable with. Show me that you've done anything with the words. Do 3 times each. Do ABC order. If you're only comfortable with maybe 5 out of our 10 words, do
Right.
that. And then you'll get whatever the reward is, usually a snack or something. But that's where the parents come in. And that's when I'll say, if your child, motivate them to do it, to do something with it. It doesn't have to be stressful. It should be fun.
so they love learning.
That's the goal. That's the
The
goal.
love of learning, and
That's it.
and that doesn't stop when you
Yeah.
turn 18 and graduate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we try to, like I say, lovingly encourage. So I'll push them in a way that's like, I know what you're capable of, and let's make this fun and let's do this together rather than do it or you're going to fail. Like
Right.
I tell my students, I don't grade you. I don't grade papers. I'm not testing you. We're here to learn together. And if you're learning, then that's the goal. So that's
What a
it.
positive environment, not negatively enforced by consequences of,
Yes.
you're promoting there are other ways to learn. It doesn't have to be this way.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's that positive reinforcement rather than like punish someone for not doing something. It's let's reward them for doing above and beyond. And then other kids see that and they're like, well, I want that acknowledgement too. And it'll motivate them
Yep.
to do more.
Yeah.
Even with our youngest ones, I tell my preschool teacher, I'm like, if somebody's listening and they're paying attention and doing good work, let's give them that extra sticker. Let's make sure we acknowledge them rather than point the one out that's not.
Sure.
Because we want to motivate them to do good, not shame them
Right.
for being people.
Right.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
How you doing over there? I got another good question for you. Okay. What is something that was once a challenge to learn that you feel like you overcame and can now do better?
It was mostly dividing.
Okay. Was that very challenging in the beginning?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I got really confused because once I learned how to do it, we went on to the hundreds in dividing, and
Oh.
I got really nervous.
Uh-huh.
But now that I've learned a lot more, I know how to do it.
Piece of cake.
Yep.
That's huge. That's awesome.
And that's another thing that's really cool about homeschooling is that
Yeah.
we're not on a timeline. So she doesn't have to learn that subject or that piece of that subject by, let's just say, Friday when they're going to test them on it. And then
Right.
if they don't know, we're still going to move on. And
Yeah.
the kid's not there yet. So it's like, okay, where I could take her and say, okay, we need an extra week or 2 for division. We're just going to take our time and not go on to the next thing. We'll work on that. Or I'll say, you know what? Let's just stop because you're not getting it and I don't want to get frustrated.
Yep.
So we're going to stop. We're going to move on. And then in time, we'll go back to it. And that's how we will do something like that, for example.
Yeah.
So that way she's not getting frustrated and I'm not getting frustrated. And, she can see that she can do it.
Yeah.
Just at her own timeline.
And that's one of the biggest life lessons that you've already started to learn is, there are difficult things that come up, and if we face those difficult things, we can overcome them and overcome that challenge. And you did that with the vision, and you're probably going to keep on doing that with other things.
Yep.
Yeah, good job. How about you, Mom? From a business perspective, this has been a business for you, and you've grown from 4 kids to 25 in just a few short years. What's been your greatest struggle to overcome as you've gone through this process?
I think it's meeting each child where they are. It's meeting each child where they are and really loving these kids, regardless of where they are. Also understanding that homeschooling can be done in many different ways. It's not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
And so if, that's how we try to run it. So I try not to make it so straight and narrow, where I try to make it that broad spectrum where we can meet each child where they are, and each parent too, because the parent has their own ways that they want to do this, as they should. And so the biggest struggle is really trying to make everyone happy.
Okay.
And knowing that's not always going to happen.
Sure.
Our parents they say, I want to invest more time into something else. And so they might not continue on with us because they want to take another path, which is fine, which is what's supposed to happen.
Sure.
But me, I'm like, well, we offer so much and we're so great and you should stay with us.
Yeah.
And not taking that personally, but understanding that this is the journey.
Right.
Not getting upset about that or thinking that I'm failing in any way.
Yes.
But knowing that this is the way I'm doing it, and I try to make it the best experience for as many parents as I can.
Yep.
And then when they decide if there's another path they want to take, that's okay.
And that is not a negative reflection on you.
Right.
It's what's in the best interest of the kid, and that's what this is all about.
100%. And the parents also knowing that, hey, I'm here for you. So if you want to pick my brain on certain things, or you want to be part of certain things, that we keep that door open in a way to be able to keep a community that is strong, a strong homeschooling community. Because at the end of the day, we want to reflect the love of Jesus. That's really the main thing that I want to do. And so it's like, if it doesn't work out where I have a vision, and my vision is this is how today's going to run. And if today doesn't run that way, to know that that's okay.
Yeah.
And that, we did the best we can, and that was the way it was supposed to go.
Right.
And usually it works out even better. Yep. God's plan is usually better than mine. So
yeah.
Yeah.
What they say, man makes plans and God laughs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. With every situation in life. So
Yeah. So you talked about starting a high school program coming up in the fall.
Yeah.
Is there any other long-term vision for where you're going with this?
The newest things are the high school unit that we're launching in the fall, and then we've also got approval to be an umbrella, which is very exciting. So,
What does that mean?
So an umbrella, so you have a choice. When you homeschool your child as a citizen of this country has a right to an education. And so somebody's going to hold you to that. Either the public school system is going to hold you to that, or you're under an umbrella, which is typically a religious institution, like a church.
Okay.
So we're under Mapleview Baptist. We're the umbrella. And so if a parent doesn't want to go through the public school system, they can sign up to go through us. And so we check off the boxes and say they did A, B, C, D, and make sure that the parent is indeed educating their child. If not, then it's our responsibility to tell them they have to change certain things, or we report it.
Yeah.
We would have to say, this child deserves an education, so we need you to fix this. And
Right.
then we go back. Yeah, so, which is really exciting. So, and it makes it more convenient for the parents, because when they come to us, they could sign up for the umbrella as well. And we do it all. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Okay. Grace, favorite book?
That's a hard one.
There's a lot of good ones.
Have you ever heard of Piggy and Gerald?
Say that again?
Piggy and Gerald.
No, I have not.
It's a book about a pig and an elephant that do like things like one of them is like Piggy's like, I will go, and Gerald doesn't know where she's going.
Okay.
And so he tries to stop her from going, but in the end she was actually going to lunch.
There you go. Okay.
Really
So that's a good book. That's a good book shout out. Favorite physical activity?
I really like soccer. I used to do soccer in like a camp. I still do it, but like it's only for summer.
Okay.
Like it's like a week, and then like it's over.
Okay.
And then I would just do a different soccer camp. It's pretty fun because every time I'd get the goal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay. And last one. Favorite part of history? That's another tough one. A lot has happened in the past.
There's a lot.
There is a lot.
Who did you dress up as for the famous person day?
Oh, Amelia Earhart.
Okay. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If people want more information about Abingdon Classical Academy, did I say that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Abingdon Classical Homeschool Academy.
Homeschool Academy.
Yeah.
Why can't I get this, Grace? Jeez. I don't know. Where can people reach out to you?
The best way, well, Facebook, you can look us up at Abingdon Classical Homeschool Academy, or our website, which is abingdonclassical.square.site. Those are probably the best two ways to get in touch with us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you have fun today? Yeah? Did you have fun today?
Great time.
Great time. Thank you for joining us. Again, please follow them on their at their website. And also, please follow us if you haven't followed us yet and you just ran across us. We are on all the social media platforms, including YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Subscribe and share this out. Help them grow the homeschool. You guys are phenomenal in what you're doing. I really appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Until next time, folks, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead. Click it. Go ahead.